there. We're explaining informed consent. So it's basically letting the client know what's expected of them and what is going to be expected of the therapist in the session, and then or in the sessions to come. And I think it's important to let them know about the cost, how long the sessions are. If they want long term care, you may have to refer them out because that may be something that is not available. And then canceling appointments within 24 hours in advance. So, really need to know in that aspect. And then confidentiality is super important. We need to make sure that they can trust us with their information. Disclosure. So, in case they had ever mentioned that they would harm themselves or others, or anything about child endangerment, letting them know we would have to report that. It is a part of our ethics, and just really important to stay up to par with that. To offer family member sessions, maybe, in case that may be more helpful as well. And then a professional disclosure statement is basically a written document provided by the therapist, letting the client know about the details that is going to happen, like their qualifications, the practice approaches that we will be doing, as well as the fees. Once again, the confidentiality, the policies we have to go by, and other information that is important for the professional relationship that is kept between the client and the therapist. Essentially, also informing the client that they can make their own decisions based on the services provided for them. So I think that is very important as well. We are also the significance between an informed consent and telehealth informed consent is there is a huge difference between in session, in person counseling sessions, or online telehealth, because there's a lot of details, as in they would need a formed consent separate, because in person you can see more facial reactions, you can see more body language. Like right now, half my body is cut off on the screen, for example. So I think it's very important to be able to, for certain therapies, some people need to be in person. Some people just are not made for telehealth. Also, technology. They could have weather issues, they could have Wi Fi issues. They could pick a public-ish setting to where it's like, oh no, they don't want people knowing about their personal business, but they want to be able to talk. There could be issues with connectivity between therapist and client, like they can't hear as well, and stuff like that. So making a plan as if it won't work, to try several times to make it work, like sending new links to the client, or eventually making a phone call, seeing if that will work instead. So I just think it's really important to think about these things and how they could potentially harm or help. And then I think it's really important to require the other requirements on the form itself. Sorry, I'm stumbling a little. Is to go over the crisis intervention. Like if you're not around, who can they contact? 911. What hours are you going to give them to contact you if there is a crisis? And stuff like that. So I think it's really important as well, of course, to have the disclosure, the confidentiality, have privacy practice. The client has to sign off for that, and the financial policy. And then you want to sign and give them a copy so they know what is expected of them. And yeah, that's pretty much all of what I'm explaining here. Besides, I would add more to consent form, depending upon the sessions with the client and the type of therapy we are doing. So I think it's very important to stay really informed on what is up to date, so we can know, what is expected of us, the cultural differences, and everything we can do to provide.